Hi, this is Tony Guthrie, and I was just sitting here in my home office going through my mail, and I noticed yet another flyer for another preaching conference. Now, I don't have any problem with preaching conferences because I've been to a lot of them in my day. I've heard some of the best homiletical teachers, some of the best preachers, some of the most well-respected ministers in America today, and even from around the world. And there's always a lot of value that you can get from going to one of these preaching or public speaking type conferences. But most of the things that I have seen there or gotten there after going through all of the expense of getting a hotel and airfare and the enrollment and the food cost and all of those things, almost all of the content are things that I have seen before or that I read in the very person who's giving the conference, their textbook, or something that I can find through thumbing through some other textbooks that I might have here on my own shelf. There really is not much new under the sun. So you go to these conferences hoping that you're going to get something that's going to help you improve your preaching or your communication, your sermon delivery, or whatever it might be. And there again, there is some value there. But what these preachers and teachers, these gurus do, is they preach and teach to a broad audience. In other words, you don't get individual, specialized, personal treatment while you're there. You simply get general instructions of a broad nature. And I thought about that for a long time because when I went to those conferences, I did walk away with a pearl or two of good wisdom, something that I had not picked up before. But what I was really looking for was something that's going to help me in my own personal environment, my own church setting, or my own ministry situation. And that was never really the case outside of just a pearl or two. So since I've become a professor of preaching and been doing what I've been doing for as long as I've been doing it, I simply decided to offer something that I believe is far superior to preaching conferences or public speaking conferences or conferences on communication, where you have to actually go to it, pay for it, deal with the travel and the expense and all that. Why not offer something one-on-one that's personalized, individualized to your particular situation, where you work one-on-one with me for a fraction of the overall cost that's involved in doing all that travel, eating, hotels, conference registration, and so forth. Why not meet with me online for an initial session of 2 hours where I can get to know you, get to know your heart, your passion, teach you the things that I know in general about preaching, and then begin to devise something that will help you in your particular environment, tap into your own creativity, tap into your own strengths and your own abilities, and help you become the communicator, the preacher, the Bible teacher, the Christian public speaker that you want to become for the glory of God. All, again, for the fraction of the cost that you would pay to go to get general information, most of which you can find in most preaching textbooks. Now, let me just talk a little bit about the fee, because I know that's the first thing that runs through our minds when we think about something like this. Coaching and consulting is kind of the wave of the world that we live in now. And if you've seen any coaches or consultants in personal development or whatever it might be, you'll find that it's very, very pricey. I mean, $995 and up. But what I'm going to do for a very short period of time is I'm going to offer an initial session with those of you that are watching this video. I'm going to offer an initial coaching session for $149.95 for 2 hours of individual time with me on the internet, one-on-one, over Skype or GoToMeeting or something like that, where we can talk to each other, see each other face-to-face over the screen. For 2 hours there, we will get to know each other. I'll give you some initial instructions, some homework. I'll give you a copy of the book if you don't already have a copy of it. If you already have a copy of the book, I'll throw something else in that give added value to your $149.95. Maybe something that'll make it worth your while. But what I really want to do is help you to become the preacher, the Bible teacher, the Christian communicator that God wants you to become. And the best way for me to do that is meet with you one-on-one. And I have to get something for my time. So $149.95 for the first 2 hours of one-on-one time with me. And then after you've done some homework, each 1 hour session after that is only $49.95 each time we meet. And you can meet with me as many times as you want to. You may only need a session or two to get to the heart of what you're trying to do. But some of you might want to meet with me for 3 or 4, maybe even 5, 6, 10 times. It's really up to you. The beautiful thing about this coaching is that you can do it according to your desires and your needs. And I'm always going to be here as long as I'm alive. So you can do it every week, every day, take a month or two off and come back and pick it up later. Far better than a classroom or a conference where you go get a bunch of information that's general rather than specific to your situation. So again, great value in some of the preaching conferences, public speaking conferences. You get to hear some of the best minds in the world. Or you can talk with someone like me who's been trained by those very people, who has a PhD in homiletics and preaching and public speaking, who has been teaching, preaching, and Christian rhetoric and public speaking for over 10 years at Luther Rice Seminary, New Orleans Seminary, and a few other places I've been invited to teach. You can have my personal experience, my personal help to tailor-make a system and plan just for you so that you can come away with specific information rather than broad, generalized information that you really can't tailor to your specific situation. So I hope that you'll contact me at the information that's provided here at this particular website, and we'll set up a time where we can get together and help you do the best you can do for the glory of God. This is Tony Guthrie. Thank you for giving me a moment of your valuable time.